My name is Luis Valdez, and I strongly believe that we all have a purpose, if you realize it or not. And my hidden talent is poetry, spoken word poetry. I was born and raised in Harlem, New York. I am half Dominican and half Cuban. My mother's from Dominican Republic, and my father's from Havana, Cuba. Growing up, I really did not had a simple childhood or life in general. Okay, growing up, I really never had a chance to really to develop a relationship with my mother. Unfortunately, her time was cut short. I was 10 years old, and she got murdered by her boyfriend. Her boyfriend beat her to death, killed her bricks and stones because she cheated on him. That morning, when my older brother Chris found her body in the back of the car, because Sunday night, that I remember the last night that I seen her in 2002, that she actually went out. And I remember the last thing I said, she looked beautiful. Next you know, my older brother woke me up crying and stuff. And even to this day, I still have that image in the back of my mind. I do have a little brother as well, and at that time he was 4 years old. So I guess the best thing I could do as a big brother, I grabbed my little brother, and I took him back to his room, because I really did not want to see our mother like that. My father, after my mother passing, I was sent back to Harlem, New York. Oh yeah, for like 6 7 years I was living in Tampa, Florida, but I was sent back to New York. I was like back and forth between Florida and New York. So Scott, I was definitely was living with my father, and my father was used to be a big time drug dealer back in the days in Harlem, on 135th Street in Amsterdam. I believe they call him Moto or Cuba. Anywho, growing up, I was the only son that he had, and like in Cuba, I have two older sisters. I never met them, but once I graduated my bachelor, that's the plan. So, like growing up with my father, he was my first teacher. Like he gave me life lessons. Like he came from a third world country, Fidel Castro, dictator, communist, and the whole 9 yards. But he pretty much pushed me to go to school, to become a lawyer. Like really do not get involved with the streets. And he always used to say, like Wicho, like I really just want you to become a lawyer. And the funny thing is that my mother, before she passed away, she was actually was planning to go to law school too, because she enjoyed like helping people. Funny thing is, that's what I'm doing now. It just came naturally. So a year went by, and I was living with my father, and at that time we pretty much moved to upstate New York, in a town called Newburgh. I lied to you not. I woke up, saw big guns in my face. Literally, like state trooper came and they flipped the whole house down where I was living at with my father, his girlfriend, and their kids, who are pretty much like my family as well. Unfortunately, they sent my father to prison, and they sent me to a foster home, because a year ago my mother was murdered. Then a year later, my father was sent to prison, and I'm like in the foster home. So I was 11 years old at that time, and I just had that, like, the why me face, like, God, why me. And I met this girl named Viola Steven. They moved me to an orphanage called Friend House. And at first, me and Viola, at that time, I believe she was 15, I was 11. We really didn't get along. And then one day she asked me what's wrong, and then she kind of like forced it out of me. So I pretty much told her, and that since then we was very close. Like if you see me, you see her. You see her, you see me. Whatever. So I was there first at the friend house, and they was gonna move me to a foster home. Viola found out, she left and she cried, so I didn't even have a proper chance to say goodbye. And then like the next thing you know, they moved me. They like I was gonna go to foster home, but before I left, I pretty much like I started writing a letter, thanking her, how much she mean to me, how much I'm gonna miss her. Then I thought about it, like you know what, maybe I'm never ever gonna see her again. So I kind of transitioned that letter to a poem, and that's how I started writing poetry. Fast forward, I was 11 now. Right now I'm 16 years old. I'm performing poetry. Like in high school, I started doing slams, spoken word, and my father was dying of cancer now. And it was very rough because it was just me and my father and my cousin. But my cousin was living in Jersey, so it's mostly me and my father. And I definitely remember at times that I used to give my father food so he would be good. And I used to lie to him that I'm okay, but I used to go to sleep hungry. But you know what? I was alright with that. I was part of Urban Word, not big nonprofit poetry organization in New York City. I performed at Madison Square Garden. Believe it or not, I was like 17 years old, and like I made it to the semifinals, and I was right there to to get that exposure and that opportunity. But my father was dying, so I pretty much had to choose to either go perform or go be with my father. And you know what? I choose to be with my father, and even to this day, I still don't regret that. And the funny thing is that my father was a drug dealer, and my mother was a drug addict. So I grew up with, I guess, both kind of perspective in a weird way. Like what not to do. I pretty much learned from other people's mistakes, so I won't have to make them myself. So now, currently, I'm 26 years old, and like I am living with a priest called Father Frank. The funny thing is now I pretty much host a creative writing workshop, and I actually work with drug addicts and convicts, and it's very rewarding. In this upcoming June, we're actually going to get our poetry published together, and it's gonna be a fundraiser for Hope House Ministries. Throughout my trials and tribulations, my poems definitely help me get through things, and also uplift myself and others, and also inspire others and inspire myself to remind myself I got this. Like I said, I really do believe that everybody does have a purpose. I know myself, I was born with a purpose, and the reason why, because my father was one of those illegal immigrants that like Fidel Castro released in the 1980s. He pretty much did 10 years prior because he committed murder. So if Fidel Castro never released him, then I would have never been born. And that's how I knew that I was born with a purpose. On wasted, hidden talent. It's not over until you win. God bless.